Hi everyone, so today's I said today's material review. I am tired. So today's tutorial will be on my brows, which are starting to grow back but are not very existent. So I wanted to show how I do them with all the exact product I use every day. I wait for till I had a routine that I sort of liked before doing this, obviously. So if you want to see how I do my brows, just keep on watching. So first I'm using the NYX Tame and Frame Tinted Brow Pomade that I've tried recently because NYX just arrived in Quebec, Canada. So yeah, I have the shade Chocolate, which I don't feel like it's a perfect match, but I have brows that are so light that pretty much anything works because my hair is just a red mess with roots and other roots, and it just... So I'm taking this with the e.l.f. small angle brush since this didn't came with the brush. I really like this pomade because, well, I haven't tried other pomades, but it really does stay, and it really pretty much like a gel liner, but different but similar at the same time. So I'm just drawing them like I want to, mostly just defining what I already have and sometimes trying to hide that scar because I'm stupid. I fucked up my brows. So here we go. I wish I had a shade light, darker for the pomade, but we'll see. You'll see how I fix this soon. I do take a lot, like I did back a few times, but just because I really like bold, define. I don't care if people call those like Sharpie brows. It's just how I like to do mine. I have some really weird hair that are like literally like that, so I try to flat them out with the pomade, as you can see. So, but see, it's getting a little bit better and fits the hair more. But it's because in store you don't have testers like you have with other brands, so it's sort of, you have to pick from what you see on the box, but it's somewhat difficult. But I should have checked online, I don't know, but I buy this on a whim. Really, I wasn't really planned that I buy this, but I did, and I don't regret it one bit. I mostly do both at the same time, so I'm sure they're pretty much even, because I know they're not tweezed perfectly, so they're not really equal. Sometimes the arch will be more angular, sometimes it will be more like a round. I don't know how to say this. I try to make them as close as possible, but I really feel like I don't truly achieve that because they're really not the same, like, and it's really, I know it's sort of hard. I would have to shave my brows and start again, like, for having perfectly equal brows. But if they're not the same, it's okay because we're going to correct that with concealer, which is what I always do. Even if they were perfect like that, I would still put on some concealer. And there's a trend I don't master, and it is the ombre brows, and I'm sort of sad that I don't because I truly find this beautiful, but it's okay. I learn every day. Now that it somewhat looks maybe even if you might think it does not. I know. I just, so my brush doesn't dry with the product on it because it really has a lot of hold. I just put the excess on the rim, which is something I don't do when I apply it to my brows, because I feel like I applied a maximum amount, but it's okay. Then I'm using another NYX product, and it is their Above and Beyond Full Coverage Concealer, but I think now it's called Concealer in a Jar. Just a thick, creamy concealer that has some coverage, and I'm using the Real Techniques, I think it's called the concealer brush, where the name is. Okay, so there's no name, but it's an itty bitty concealer brush. I hit pen, I truly did. This was supposed to replace my Sonia Kashuk all covered up concealer, but it's not as creamy, so I don't use it on the other eyes. It's not like as emollient, but it works great for the brows. The shade I have is Fair, so taking a bit of that for cleaning up on top, on and bottom. I have my foundation, but I just don't have my concealer yet. But most of the time I use this one for like blemishes, so I'm just going to perfect the brows. Also take time to cover that area. So it's really like, it won't look as crazy when I blend it out. This concealer is just perfect, I feel, for the brows. I liked it at first for the under eye, but for brows it's really the ideal. And the fact that you're doing this makes the gradation of the shadow so much better, I discovered with time. So another great tip. And also something I often do is I'll take this and just clean up the edges. So this concealer is really a multitasker. You could use it on the under eyes. They have like some corrective shades such as green, yellow, orange, and stuff like that. I wish they had a pink one, but they don't. So yay! I really like this brush, but you could use also the e.l.f. concealer brush. It's just that this one is really nice as well. And it can be sort of not difficult, but like you can feel like you're doing a lot of back and forth between the pomade and the concealer. Just make sure you're closing the lid really tight before, like, between each use, because since sort of a gel, or sort of a gel like the concealer, more, it's not a gel, but you know, but you can, if you don't want them to dry, sorry, I feel like I have trouble speaking. And if you have, if I have some concealer issues, I can just cover them up with the same brush. You could use the, I use it from time to time, it's the Hard Candy Camouflage, but since it's more liquidy and covers more space, and it's more covering than the NYX, I don't feel like it does the same effect. But really, use what you have. You can do this with the pencil also. And I have a concealer pencil, was a really small pencil that you could use also. I just didn't like the formulation. Then using a random concealer brush from the internet, like on AliExpress or Amazon, you can get those, or I guess Sigma has those, or pretty anyone that sells concealer brushes. Oh, I didn't clean up the edges. Anyway, so you can use a brush like that. It's sort of a point kabuki, and blend around it. I use the tip where I'm with the eyeshadow. It gives a more perfected look. Sorry for the darkness. It's cloudy, so, but it's not even cloudy. It's just bright. Just because I'm in the basement, it looks super horrible, the lighting. Okay, I'm really pissed that I didn't do this. I would just do it. I hate it because I clean off my brush so much when I'm done. But even though I don't really feel like I reference this concealer as being creamy, It is, don't worry. Doing a sort of triangle, and it's also helped me guide my and sometimes if you want it to be more perfect, you can use another concealer brush, because sometimes the brush you already have picks up some products, so the new one will make it easier to blend. And if I want, I will go back with the pomade. Sorry for my dog. And just again perfect what I did. Another random brush from Amazon, but you can use like any other brush that is thin and precise. I'm using the Avon Perfect Eyebrow Kit in deep brown. It has a wax and a powder, but I haven't used the wax a whole lot, but it is a nice consistency. So I'm just using some of the brown. It's a really nice shadow, like it's really pigmented powder, but I really tap off the excess, because if not, the powder will fall into what you've edged with the concealer. It's just because sometimes you can see like my natural brow through the fake brow, if that makes sense. So I like to darken everything with that. I'm sorry for those who clicked and wanted a natural brow tutorial. Like if I have much thicker brows, I will only use powder. After that, I'll usually just comb through it, like not a lot, but just to make sure the hair are like nicely placed. For setting all that concealer, you can either use a face powder, baby powder, or today I'm going to use an eyeshadow. This is the Jordana Color Effects eyeshadow powder in creamy vanilla. So just any skin tone match. See how it looks more blended than they used to, because I'm bad with eyeshadows and eyeshadows are bad with me. Like, and then if you like, you can use a sort of a highlighting shade. In this palette, I could use the white or the shimmery beige, but I'm going to go with the white because I'm not a big fan of shimmery highlights on the brows. And for further setting the brows, even though I know they're not going to move, I'm going to take the Essence Lash and Brow Gel Mascara. I know every brand has some, like gel has some eyebrow gel. No, Elf, Maybelline, CoverGirl, that's pretty much it. A lash and brow. It's just a clear mascara. I didn't even bought this for the brows. It was a DIY on colored mascara that didn't work. So I'm not even removing the excess but I'm just combing through my brows. And you could like really clean up the one before reapplying in the tube, but I began not to care and it now looks like this. So I forgot to do this right. I should have done this the first step before anything, even before I put on primer, makeup, foundation. It's obviously this. And I know I don't have those Instagram like brows that almost look photoshopped, but this is just a normal person trying to do normal brows. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. You know, you can do this like some people like higher brows, higher arch, thinner, thicker. I feel like really depends on your preference.